Hi Ahmed. I thought I'd put together a quick video to kind of showcase the design and just give you as much insight as I can in a short time. Sometimes I find videos better than calls um, because you can kind of view it and look at it and listen to it and feedback in your own time. So the project on a whole, I've enjoyed working on it. I think I've got a design together, which I'm relatively happy with. Like as a designer, will I ever be happy? I'm not too sure, but yeah, I've got quite a few questions, and I'm going to start with Trello to begin with. So this is the ChaseData Trello board. I think I've invited you to this, so let me know if you can log in or if you see this as a good tool for you or for us. So let's start over here. This is just a column for yearly goals, and I've just kind of outlined a few things that we discussed on the phone last week. So here is just some notes, your current site and other sites that were kind of referenced in our call. And then here's another goal to improve SEO. To do this, like I think it's like at this moment we're a little bit premature in terms of like I don't really know, what keywords you want to rank for and all those kind of things. So that'll be an ongoing conversation, and it's the same with social media. Um, you know, what platforms do we want to prioritize, and what kind of content are we going to produce? Where are your customers or potential customers kind of hanging out, and what can we do there? So they're just some kind of cards that we'll use as almost like benchmarks when we're kind of a few months down the line of like what we're doing and what we've achieved. So ideas, this is just a place to like dump ideas that you have or I have or anything that kind of comes up, and then we can kind of agree if something's actionable or not to do. So I've added a card here for you, which is add list of competitors. I could go away and like do some research and add some links in here, but like I actually think that would be better coming from you, like your direct competitors, like right now, and maybe the competitors that you aspire to be, or companies that you think are doing a good job in your field. So that's that. Things that we've done, just skipping the doing column. This is my card here for the homepage design. You've uploaded the assets, so you sent me over them in an email. I've just dropped them in here. I've added a few other notes there, which is fine. And the first task really was to spec out what a 4-hour sprint homepage design project looks like, and what fees are attached to that. I've also like just documented what we've discussed, and today's work. I've done 3 hours of design work today, so I'm this kind of trying to be transparent and trying to like document so there's no confusion there. So the home page design, I've put a load of notes in here, and this will hopefully help me kind of get a better understanding of where you're at and what we're trying to do. So, like in an ideal world, I would have liked to produce multiple designs, maybe one, maybe two, three designs, so that we can kind of pick. But we haven't got that much time in the budget. Like 4 hours is not that much for me to like spread that time across multiple designs. So hopefully I won't disappoint. Hopefully you'll like what you want to see, but like I needed to get up to speed with you, your brand, your company, like what do you do? What's your service offering? Like evaluate kind of the existing website, and how it's set out, and things like how the sitemap works and the navigation, and do we make any changes to the logo, and so all those kind of things. So one thing we've got here is like I think in your style guide, I don't know if you're completely happy with that or whatever. It kind of kind of outlines Gotham book as a headline font, I believe. And that font is not actually available through Google Fonts or Typekit, which are kind of the main web font foundries. So I've kind of moved away from that font. Doesn't mean we can't use it in a graphical sense or use it in images or in print. It just means that it's going to be a little bit more difficult or a little more heavy if we want to use it on the web. So like the first thing that I did was like try to lay out some styles for typography and color, and that's going to help me design more quickly. I don't have to guess what color to use. It's kind of like I've got a set of colors, and they're the colors that we are going to use for the design. Other things, like I think generally like the less color we use, especially in this kind of flat design kind of trendy thing that most people are doing at the moment, is like less color is more in a lot of ways. Like if you use a lot of color on the page, it kind of dilutes things. It kind of brings less emphasis. So say if you've got a white page and only one orange, red, blue or green element, it really like draws the user's attention to that element. So thinking of like calls to actions and buttons and things like that, I think that's kind of like a smarter approach. Another thing I noticed when looking through your site, you've got like numerous call to actions. So, you know, here we've got like a phone number, we've got a free trial button, and then like we scroll down the page, we've got another free trial button, we scroll down the page, and we've got the kind of form at the bottom, which is all fine, but I think like that should all be in one place. I think generally a user, hopefully with the design that I've put together, kind of knows where the sign up button or free trial button is. Oh, we should make it prominent in the design, but I don't think we should necessarily repeat ourselves. And what happens when we click this free trial button? Do we open something up in a modal? Do like a slide out kind of draw? Do we jump to a new page? And how do we like lessen the friction of getting to a page or a modal, signing up, and trying to make that as easy as possible for the user? So that was something that I kind of wanted to talk about, because if I click this button here, I go to a whole new page with the same form that I have down here, and I don't think that's the right thing to do. Other things like at the moment we mainly, or you mainly use photography on the site. It's very much stock photography, and everybody's like clean cut in suits and super smiling, and I think that's fine. I just think it looks like stock photography. It doesn't feel unique to you. So that's something that definitely kind of came to mind straight away, which is fine. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. I was wondering, like, do we want to like make more of screenshots of the app? You know, do we want to showcase that up front, or do we want to encourage users to like sign up for this trial and like, you know, log in and see it for themselves? So that was kind of something I was thinking about. Another question that kind of came to mind, like, do you have like a mobile app or a companion mobile app where, you know, just having an app is another way of getting potential customers or users to kind of sign up, and it's like almost like another marketplace having an app in the App Store, if that's like Google Play or the Apple App Store. So that's something else to consider. What else? Like the other kind of thing I was thinking about was like the sitemap of the site, how the pages fit together in like a tree-like structure. Like at the moment we've got quite a few links up at the top, which is fine, but like I don't think we're prioritizing and pushing the user to where they want to go. You know, like is them reading the news tab really as important as, you know, communicating what the pricing is and what solutions that you offer. And like at the moment within this design, like the news tab and the pricing and solution or products and solution tab are the same weight. So like sometimes I think we can kind of like push that down to the footer maybe, or do something else with them. We want to kind of create a funnel for the user to go through. And I think this is like having all these links up here is diluting the most important links. So that was something else that I was thinking about. Um, Something else I was thinking about was like, can we A/B test this hero? Like, meaning, you know, this headline here and this button and this photo. You know, like, should we do a quick test of like, if we use this kind of photo and we use this headline and we use this button with this text on the button rather than free trial, maybe it says get started, or it might say sign up, and the button might be green or red or blue, and what that kind of how that influences conversion. So like that was all kind of things of my learning and me trying to understand what you're trying to do here. These were all questions that were kind of coming up in my mind. Um, so the other thing I was thinking about was like, I'm designing in Photoshop at the moment. I'll show you the design shortly. But like some of the things we can't do in Photoshop is like what happens on scroll. You know, do we have like a fixed nav? Do we have like an element of animation, things fading in, or all those kind of interaction kind of elements. At the moment, it doesn't seem that you have any animation on your site, and I think that's absolutely fine. But sometimes it can just add that level of polish, and I think that's something else we can discuss as we go down the road. I've got a few other notes here about potential next steps, but I think we should dive in to some design work and discuss that. So, like, the first thing I did was, after reviewing your current site, I looked at the other links that you sent across, and I just wanted to create a really minimal style guide in terms of the fonts, the sizes, the typography on a whole, like leading and line height. What does a heading look like, a subtitle, a standard link, and what do the buttons look like, and have like a palette of colors that I can kind of just use and design quickly. Like once you can agree those colors, there's no like guessing what things should be. Like we call it like UI patterns, and everything should be kind of consistent. And having like gradients from dark grey to light grey, and dark red to or orange to more of a light orange in the blue and the green, that just allows us to have like the hover effects, and using colours for backgrounds with white text, or a light background with darker text, and all those kind of things. So that was like my first step, and that's just allows me to design more quickly. So to jump over to the actual design, this is what we've got. So I'm going to start top left and talk about what we've done here. The first thing is that this logo is nice. I do like the logo on a whole, but I didn't think the font tied in very well with the symbol or with the shape, because this is very like straight and hard edges. So I've introduced this new font, which is a lot more rounded. I don't know if you can see that specifically well in this video, but I'll send over the links, and I just think it works a lot better, like with the shape. So that was the first thing that I kind of looked at. The next thing was like the navigation, like trying to take away some of, like people don't read online for a start, or have very little bandwidth for time and reading. They kind of want something immediately, and I think this kind of helps the kind of funnel. So like the navigation I've got is like tour, which will give you like a more in-depth page about what the product does, maybe include some screenshots, upsell the value of the product and the problems that you're trying to solve. Solutions, this probably will go into more industry-specific solutions. And pricing, like every website I've ever built, like tour and pricing are like the two top-tier pages. Everybody wants to know the price of the product, and we'll probably take some of the content that you've got here. And then the free trial button. So as you scroll, maybe we do that kind of fixed nav. So the free trial link or button will always be in the viewport, will always be visible, and therefore that kind of helps us not repeat that button further down the page. So the header, let's talk about the background photo. So I've tried to make it less, can I say, cheesy, like with business people smiling. It might want to be more call center orientated. Obviously, he hasn't got a headset on. It's just some dude sitting in an office, like working away. So I don't know. I think the image works. I love the kind of short depth of field and the kind of blurring of the elements at the front of the image, and then the kind of sharp, crisp face in the background. So we can play with loads of different photos here. I don't want you to say, oh, I don't like that photo, or that photo isn't literal enough, or it doesn't tell me enough about call centers, because that photo is like probably the easiest thing to change. The other things I've kind of been working on is like we've call center solutions. Again, that's probably too literal, maybe not. Like that's what the product does, and that's what we're trying to sell. And then we've got our introductory paragraph, and then we've got 2 buttons. We've got the success stories, so this would probably jump over to a list of maybe testimonials or customers or clients that have used your product and seen hopefully huge benefits there, and we might have some metrics, we might have some infographics or something on that page. And then the get started, which is obviously going to jump over to the sign up page, or we'll overlay a modal, or some kind of draw from the side might slide out, or slide down from the top. So that was something else, but generally going back and forward, I just think it feels a bit more modern, a bit more glossy, very minimal colours, but I just think the colours are very kind of vibrant and nice. So as we scroll down the page, we had a lot of information here. We might want to include a bit more information than I've got further down the page, but again, like just having limited time to put together something, I've come up with this. So as we scroll down, we've got rock solid and browser based, inbound and outbound call center software designed to produce better results faster. So then, like, this is just really placeholders for maybe some iconography or maybe some photos. Not really decided there, but I kind of wanted to agree what these benefits or value added kind of features that or services that you offer. I think we should agree these before we design anything here. So you might click these elements, and they might expand a section on the page, open a modal, go to their own page. There's so much scope here. Like, I just kind of want to know what the content is before I spend any time really crafting any iconography or trying to pick some photos out. I've just tried to include something relatively realistic that I've kind of got from your site. So as we continue to scroll down, we get to the integrations. You integrate with CRMs and I believe some other products. So we've included them here. I think that kind of works. And then at the bottom of the page, we've got this testimonial and a carousel. So we'll probably include like 3 testimonials there. Keeping it short. This is a little bit cheesy, this photo, but I think it looks realistic enough. So that's like, interesting. We'll see how that kind of works. But we've definitely shortened the page a little bit. I think when somebody comes to a page, or a user comes to the page for the first time, I want to provide like jump off points for them to dig into the information they need. I don't think we have to put that all up front. And the footer, we've kind of stripped things down, short, neat, and professional. We've included the link to like the about the company section, the news section, and the contact us kind of information. And that again doesn't necessarily have to go to a new page. And then we've also got our social links. So the links that we've lost from the top nav, we're going to put down here. And I think it's all about prioritizing the key pages and what most viewers want to see, and allowing them to dig deeper if they want to find that further information. So that's kind of how far I've got so far, which I think is okay. I think it looks shiny and nice, and quite happy with it for the time being for an initial design. I think from here we should kind of move forward, and I'll give you an opportunity to kind of feedback, and we'll iterate from there. Just outlined in Trello like some potential next steps. There's like, we need to research the competitors, like have a look at what our competition are doing from a design perspective, but also from a content perspective. And then we can iterate and finalize like the design. Like, we need to consider what happens on mobile, what happens on a tablet, how this kind of design plays out, which is fine and not overly complicated, but I think we need to put a bit of time into considering what happens there. What happens on scroll, thinking about other key pages that we want to design, which is probably, in my mind, the tour solutions and pricing and free trial, and trying to polish those pages. And then talking about, like, I believe we discussed that you mentioned that the site's built on WordPress. Obviously, I'm familiar with that, like how we would go about implementing that. And then, like, maybe considering some other landing pages, like say you're doing some Google ads or Facebook ads, or you want to rank really well for a certain term on Google, you probably want a landing page for that search term or for that ad. So most people will come to the homepage, but say if somebody working in a specific industry searches call center solution, this industry, we should probably send them to a page which might look like this, but the content, the imagery, the things that we call out in the page, the quotation, or the testimonial rather, should be relevant to that industry, so that we can do the most we can to convert that person and make it as relevant to them as possible. So I'm sure you've got a bunch of questions. Really enjoyed working on the project. And yeah, I look forward to your feedback, and I look forward to chatting more next week. Speak to you soon.